Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at one skin that actually took me a lot more time than I thought it would. It is actually going to be for the Hades, which is kind of weird because the Hades doesn't have a lot of room for a camo. I just saw another camo around YouTube where someone made a radio in the area of the Hades, and I figured, hey, that's pretty cool that the Hades has this little like rectangular spot on it where you can just do any sort of rectangular-esque figure. So I decided, hey, let's do a Nintendo Switch. And then I figured out that it would take a lot longer to make the Nintendo logo, so instead I did the Netflix logo because the font in Black Ops 4 in the paint shop is actually pretty close to the Netflix font, so I went ahead and did that. So here we go. This is going to be a little bit harder of a tutorial. This is actually going to be 31 layers. So yeah, it's not as easy as my other ones. Alright, so for the first layer, this is obviously going to be the background. Basically just a dark-ish gray. And it's basically just going to lay out the area that we're working in. So yeah, there's that. Next, we're going to do the blue Joy-Con, which is on the left, of course. There you go. It's just a rounded, this one's a rounded square, by the way. Now, one thing you'll notice is that there's like rounded edges on the inside of this, and the way to counteract that is to actually make another gray square and place it right there, so it kind of controls the size of the Joy-Con, what it overall looks like, and makes the edges on the inside sharper. On the outside, it's still round. Next, the red Joy-Con. And of course, just rinse and repeat. What I did here is I just grouped these. I grouped the blue Joy-Con and the gray, and then just copied it, pasted it, and flipped it. So now we have two. Next is going to be the screen, which, as you can see, right there, bam, done. There. By the way, just as always, make sure you're watching the scale, rotation, opacity, and pause the video if you have to. Next is going to be the white on the screen. You can basically actually leave the opacity down a little bit if you want to get kind of a little bit more of a screen effect, but I'm going to have mine all the way up. And the way that you can actually figure this out is that if you look at your regular Switch, you don't really see a lot of the like black outline of the screen when you have it on, so keep that in mind. Make sure the white square is big enough so that it doesn't cover up the overall screen, but it does leave a little bit of it showing, so it does look like more like a Nintendo Switch, more realistic. Next is the actual logo, Netflix, of course. All of these are red. They're not the darkest red. They're one darker than the brightest red, if that makes sense. So here's the all are. Again, pause the video if you need to look at the coordinates of anything. There's the logo. Now, if you notice on the Netflix logo, there is a little bit of curvature on the bottom of the logo, so it kind of looks like the Netflix logo is like rotated and like arcing in a way. So the way that I did this is I got the thicker, by the way, I'll show you what I mean here. There's two. There's this like arc right here. Actually, there's three, sorry. There's an arc, there's a what's called macaroni on here, but it's like sort of a not so much bowed out arc. And then there's a really thin bowed out arc. And at first I used this one, the crest, but then I figured out that you can't really get the arc effect the way you want it with this thing. It's a little bit too thin, just naturally. So I went ahead and used macaroni instead, and that one actually worked a lot better. So, there's macaroni. As you can see, it now has the intended effect. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. Next is layer 16 and 17, which, as you see, are white because they're grouped, and I made them like that, so we'll go ahead and ungroup that there. It's basically just a circle with a hole in it, and then a regular circle. This one is gray, like the color of the Switch itself, and this one's black to kind of emulate an effect of it being down there. Now this one's the same way. I will ungroup them here, and I'll paste these to max. You can't really see it because of this big gray thing right here, which, you know, I was thinking about incorporating this big gray bolt, but I figured against it. Why not? And then you can barely see it peeking out right there. Next is layers 20 through 23, which are just a bunch of gray circles. And that is how you get the joypad stick arrow things, whatever they're called. And yeah, it's literally just a bunch of really small gray circles, and you kind of just have to eyeball it, but if you want exact positions, I'll go through it slowly here. So there's the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one. Then after that, basically all you want to do is group these and then copy them and then fling them all the way over to the other side. So 24, this one is, I'm actually not sure. Oh yeah, sorry. This is the home button. As you can see, it appeared right under the dots. This other square here is the minus button up top. Now 26 through 29 is just another 4 dots. I just literally copy and pasted the first 4 dots and then moved them over to the top side of the switch. Again, you really can't see it because it's blocked out, but it's close enough. And finally, the last 2 things grouped up here. Group them. It's the plus sign, and that's actually it. It's just the plus sign. Now let me show you how I did the plus sign, since it was a little weird. I got these little arrow things. Where are they? Right here, corner. I got one of them, made it gray, copy pasted, flipped it, put it together, and then I rotated it. So as you can see, there was some rotation on it. They're at 43 rotation, by the way, and rotated it so that it made the it looked like a multiplication sign, but I made it into a plus sign basically. So that's how I got the plus sign. Because there is actually, if you look here, there's actually not a single one of these that looks anything like a plus sign. There's like stars and stuff, but that's not what you want. So that one looks a lot more exact. And there you go, guys. Now you have an all-new Nintendo Switch running Netflix on your Hades. If you actually, I'll zoom out here. Let me save this. I'll just save it as Netflix. If we go back here, you'll see that it is not very, it's not very big, but it's cool. It's like a cool little thing right there. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you next time. Be sure again to leave your requests or suggestions in the comments below. And thanks for watching this tutorial.